the advocate, Tulani Mgomezulu, who is representing accused number 1 and number 2, cross-examining the lead investigator, Brigadier Geninda, on this case. For now, let us end here for today's show. Let us meet again tomorrow from 9 until 11 here on SABC Lihaye. Have yourself an awesome day.
Sangela thina sinibingelela sinamukele siqephini sanamuhla seDaily Thetha. Babukeli kanti njengenjwayelo kuyintokozo enkulu ukuhlanganelana nani as we continue to build the nation one conversation at a time. Mina ke igama ngumxolisi wakwaMasango uSilo Sengakana usithulela uhlelo ngolimi lempawu. Lalela ngabe wena umuntu onozwelo?
I'd like to think I have a big heart. Unozwelo, yes.
Uyabathanda abantu?
Ngiyabathanda abantu.
Yeah, so namhlanje ke sikhuluma ngabantu ke abanozwelo ohlelweni, which I think is another topic esithanda ukuyithinta kwesinye isikhathi noma kuma family gatherings nezinto kanjalo. Kodwa ke mbukeli nje njoba sowuzwile ke namhlanje sikhuluma ngabantu abanozwelo kakhulu emiphakathini yethu. Essentially we know them as ifiber lebamba imiphakathi yethu. Kwesinye isikhathi kuyibona futhi abaqinisekisa ukuthi akunamuntu ohluphekayo emiphakathini yethu. Kusho ukuthini konke lokho mazothatha idingo zabanye abantu uzibeke ngaphambi kwezakho kuqala. Kusho ukuthi ke kwesinye isikhathi ke uzoba umuntu esingambiza nge-nation builder or mhlawumbe futhi namanye amagama amahle sisiye sawabona ke adescribe bona abantu laba abanozwelo. Namhlanje ke yizona inkulumo esinazo ohlelweni.
Namuhla ke mbukeli we explore the unique and transformative journey of empaths nebantu that are highly sensitive. Kuthiwa ke empath umuntu that has a unique ability to deeply connect nema emotions alabanye, and their emotional sensitivity allows them to really experience the joy, the sorrows and the struggles of labanye bantu.
Kodwa ke kuthiwa makusenjalo welalela kwesinye isikhathi lento kungahle kube iblessing kuphinde kube isiqalekiso. Kanjani ke kanjalo ngoba kuthiwa kwesinye isikhathi uma uzothatha idingo zabanye abantu ube ngaphambi kwezakho kusho ukuthi wena awunaso isikhathi for yourself.
Siyathanda kuva ukuthi nini ngabe nithini on the socials, so be sure to connect with us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram sikhona. And speaking of the socials, ake sive ukuthi nini ngabe nithini. Usandile Mdluli on Facebook says, the best way to deal with an empath is to respect and consider their feelings rather than focusing only on what they are saying, because they can hide their true emotions and you can completely miss it.
All right, and usandile wenza iphuzu elibaleke kakhulu ke lapho ku Facebook. Untomzodwa Christine naye ku Facebook, I am an empath, and about 3 years ago I struggled very hard to come to terms about who I am. If I had known this about myself earlier, I would have avoided all the hurt from people and the mistakes I had to learn from. I kept repeating them before I got a wake-up call. And untomzodwa I think lalela ukhuluma nge downfall mhlawumbe disadvantage yokuba umuntu onezwelo, andekusenjalo kubaleke kakhulu ke ukuthi siuhlelo as we lay the foundations for lenkulumo lesoba nayo namhlanje to also reflect on abantu as well as the differences that they make emiphakathini yabo. Kusenjalo ke sineyivakashi zethu that join us namhlanje kanti futhi ke ne studio audience as per usual ukuthi sixoxisane nathi ngalo daba lolubaleke kakhulu kangaka. Nawe ke xhumana nathi einkundleni zethu zokuxhumana kuyintokozo enkulu ke ukuba nani ke welalela. I think we're ready to start this conversation, aren't we?
Yes, we are. And joining us to further our conversation is Rebecca Umama Bekwa Mzansi, who is a philanthropist and the founder of the Vangegula FC, and Hector Masinge, who's also a philanthropist. Sindingele sinamgede kuhlelo. Can you please just perhaps speak about this beautiful relationship in Nayo, because we've heard, somebody told us, you guys share quite a very special bond.
Okay, I'm Becca Mzansi from Limpopo province. They call me Mother Teresa, but I don't know why they say that. And in fact, I build houses, decent houses. And I'm the founder of the Grannies soccer team. These are the Grannies who play football. And we just had the World Cup, the first ever. So I'm doing a lot. Yes.
I guess usasixoxela nje ngalokho mina ngifuna ukwazi futhi nginentshisakalo ukuthi sazi ukuthi kahle kahle uma wakuphi usukaphi and lonke lo thando labantu lusuke laphi kahle kahle.
Okay, my mother akore principal and then my dad akore circuit manager, but mina loko ni ya xikolweni aningatwisisi ku ri why bana van'wana from the village like I'm from Kowankowa bona ba huma petanenge then I ikulenyana, so I'll go to school nirna cheese rama bread and bona va nga ri na swona, so I didn't understand why ni fane ntlanga na bona va nga ri na swona, so I'll steal from my parents and give it to them because bona a ya xikolweni nampundzu and then bona va ya hi 4 loko ni ri high school, so ka mina ni nga twisisi why va fane va hlupheka, so I'll still even my clothes, even today I'm still doing that. I'll take whatever my mom banganishabela and give it to them.
That's amazing. Ekhaya babethini ngezenzo zakho?
But the first day loko ni velekiwa loko ni kula loko ni sungula ku vulavula anuku ayikhongeleni, I mean let's pray, and then after vatswari va mina they were complaining but va hetelela va ntshika ni karhi ni va pfuna hi ku ri na vanhu loko va ta whether i ntsongo u teka mama or papa a ni ta va pfuna and a no va tani even today.
And ngiyazi ke ukuthi ke na ku Zoom ke babukeli sinesinye isivakashi that joins us njengamanje ngithi ke sesamukele ke kanti ke ku Zoom yethu njengamanje siphethe uJabulile Molakeng, who's the founder of the Sibusiso Children's Home, and ngiyazi ukuthi uzosijoina a bit later on ku Zoom line yethu, but sesiqhubeka ke we Hector, I think kubalekile nokuthi nje sikwazi nawe ukuthi kahle kahle ngowawuphi usukelapha and lo msebenzi lo muhle was yini into eyawufuela yakwenza ukuthi ube nentshisakalo ukuthi usiza abantu.
Abshe na cancer. I'm Hector Masinge no nisuka Agian. Ne monlo ngakulo nukula ni benlovela yabatswari at the age of 22, and then akaya we about 7. I'm the firstborn, and then that's where like loku nganukula a role model I go Mama Beck over the radio. Like I was dreaming to meet her one day. So like my mom, all the misses to call her on the radio. Remember, unknown. And then luckily she welcomed me. And then she told me, I won't give you money, I'll give you love. I'll make you to understand that this doesn't started to happen where, and then that's where we started to know each other. Melanoma in the rural area, aka Mageba village in Guyana. So actually I can say I've learned a lot from her because when I grew up, like to me, like it started to be my hobby, even though I didn't ranch home. So I started from home. That's why, like, what I did, I make a promise to my younger brother. I was young, 22 years. I will make sure that you grow, all of you grow up. I will share my love with you, my salary. I was working as a security that time, 2002. Yes, I was working as a security. So, but through the motivation, ni when one change life, ni understand that life is not all about money. It's all about love. And love you whom from original parent, or even if it's a parent, one from the street, once shows love, and then you grow in the heart because you're able to accept the pain, and then you move on in life.
Mama Becca, I want to getting emotional. Would you like to respond to that? Because I think you guys share a very beautiful relationship and more than anything siyayibona.
Remember, I was a radio presenter go SABC Mgana London FM, but I endla show ya gospel, and that gospel show was one of the best in all radio stations. So Thetha today una company yikulu swinene, and mina sweswi because ni Thetha abe n'wana wa mina, like na but folo ukona la basidze lexi hi nga xi endla a ku ri ku Thetha loko mina na wena hi hlangana hi va xilo xin'we na wena pfuna van'wanyana. Remember ri first born ba ri 7, se ni ku pfuna lavana va ka n'wina va nghena xikolo va kota ku fikelela laha u nga fika kona. But today una company yikulu, and the same company ni teka vanhu ne vana va xikolo lava va pfumalaka ni va yisa ka Thetha, ni va yisa ka Butfulu, and then loko ni va yisile baba dyondzisa. I'm telling you now, sweswi van'wani va tirha kahle ngopfu ka tikhampani ta kahle ngopfu, van'wani va le henhla ngopfu because ni va yisa ka yena va trainer leswi va trainaka swona, loko va heta va tlhe va ti tirhela. Hi hina vanhu va kahle ngopfu, van'wani va le henhla ka government sweswi because ni dyondzisa yena dyondzisa van'wani na Butfulu laya u komba van'wanyana. That's hi leswi hi tirhisaka xiswona.
Yeah, and it's very inspiring, and ukulalelo Thetha as well asixoxela ukuthi yena kwesinye isikhathi ama efforts akhe aqala khona la ekhaya waqala ngesalary yakhe asese security guard ngoba kuthiwa i-charity begins at home essentially. Kodwa ke mbukeli masibuya ke siyaqhubeka ngale nkulumo yethu ibaluleke kakhulu, nawe uxhumana nathi enkundleni zethu zokuxhumana. Siyabuya.
This month, we thought that we'd visit some of the green innovators and greenpreneurs to understand how they are contributing to the green economy.
We are creating cosmetic soaps from the byproduct. What we teach you at the college is, number one, we teach you how to farm to produce the very food that you're eating.
On the moving services side, we used to be very plastic intensive. All our packing materials weren't biodegradable.
We actually have these teaching gardens for our children, and we introduce them to the gardens so that they know where food comes from.
There is opportunity in waste. Every cardboard that you see, every milk carton that you see, there's value attached to it.
Remember to support small businesses in your communities, and let's make those rands and cents circulate. SME on Point, every Friday at 1:30, only on S3 and SABC News Channel.
Get in touch with SABC News. Call us if you have any news leads, stories, tip-offs, or simply issues you are grappling with as a community. Call us on 011-714-6133. Alternatively, email us at news@sabc.co.za. SABC News, your voice, independent and impartial.
We take you behind the scenes of the industry.
From new breakthroughs in science and medicine,
and introduce you to some of the big players that are shaping the future of technology.
We need a human-centered, evolution. We should use this 4IR to advance people, not to disadvantage people.
to the latest gadgets and apps that are revolutionizing the way we live our lives. This show is the go-to source.
Catch Network every Saturday at 8 p.m.
What's the level? What's the life? It's your boy, the leader of the pack. Namhlanje we're taking a look at abantu who are empaths. I mean, society and the behaviors around bona ingabas ba affect njani. Let's get into the streets and find out abantu ngandoni. What? Zuma Bozi. Siphila emhlabeni webhayi kugcwele inkohlakalo kakhulu. Xa ucinga abantu abanenhliziyo ezinhle abanayo nozwelano ba affecteka kanjani?
Into yakho niya affect because khona abantu abazwela abanye mara end of the day nabo they being taken advantage of.
Most emhlabeni wamanje abantu abanenhliziyo ezinhle ibona abafola for izinto ezikanje because they consider other people first than considering their self first. You understand?
When you give out a lot, you lose a lot. Helping a lot of people at the same time I see when I lose a lot of things.
Awucinga ngaba abantu abanenhliziyo ezinhle bayayithathwa naye advantage of.
Yeah, they do take advantage of an pet. They do. Even I self in share kimotora tang batho ban kimotora tang bona batho ba thabile until so lina vela vela ka sa ka ba tseba ke thabile all the time, but people they do take advantage of me vela vela.
Yeah, they do. Because mawumuntu akuzwela kakhulu vele na ubona as a chance to take advantage.
People with good heart, they're not taking advantage. It's the people that has bad hearts, they're taking advantage. Like, let's say my friends want help from me, I help him, and he's taking advantage every day of me helping him, but he's not helping me back.
Yes, they do. Umuntu onenhliziyo enhle, they take advantage of them because the more ayenza into enhle lo muntu ejwayela, then uzothatha advantage ngaleyo nhliziyo enhle anayo.
Welcome back to Daily Thetha. Namuhla sikhuluma ngama-empaths, mamfu that are emotional sponges that are able to absorb the emotions of other people. And as sibona from our Voxies, there comes pros and cons to being an empath. And joining us now to further our discussion is Mzansi Philip Makuya, who's also a philanthropist. Before the break, Umama Becca had spoken briefly about you. Your upbringing, what did it really take for you to get to where you are namhlanje?
Ndi Mzansi Philip Makuya, ndi tobewa venda chauru, rozuma ndikorana bindu, ndiwana ndi Polokwane Limpopo. Ka rondo langa buchiro, ndo suka tangana na Mama Becca. Ndabona mushumana bakoita wa utika chimu ya boda bakeguru nda jenisa zanga ndari carbonary na ndikomera utrusa ngana kono tusangao musi bachikonyaga kiti kana zimwe zwararo ndiwanda zoteyo ndi jenise chanda kha kazo.
And ukhuluma ngento ebalekile ngoba nisebenzisa ezemidlalo isport ukufaka ukunikezela back to umphakathi wenu nesiyesa babona ke nabo bavekegura benze izibukwayo in the field. And I think kuyinto ebalekile leyo ukuthi nisize nabantu abadala futhi emphakathini ngoba kwabona abanegalelo elihle emiphakathini lethu. Mhlawumbe maningasixoxela ngokuthi mhlawumbe ama challenges enhlangabezana nawo on the day to day uqinisekisa ukuthi nibamba umphakathi wenu ukuthi ube together yimapha ama challenges enhlangabezana nawo.
Okay, these are the grannies from the age of 60. They play soccer. And one of the challenges because some of them they suffer from dementia. Bangwani babadza mabadzi hambana yala bakolo. So eka hina vanhu va sweswi a hi koti ku twisisa ku why my grandmother is doing like this. My grandmother wa rivala, my grandmother ubeke a spoon there, but after 2 minutes urivele ku xiveke kwini. We don't understand ku ri bababs. And then I ti hleketeleli ku I'm 20, I'll be 30, I'll be 40, I'll be like that one. I support. So with soccer, I'm telling you, and minga famba n'wina mi ri 2 mi endla research lava va tlangaka bolo sweswi a yi tshama yi va na problem hi nkarhi wa COVID a ku na kokwana wun'we la nga vabya hinkwavo va ri free. Mi nga endla research with doctors or whoever a yi vanga na problem ka lava va tlangaka bolo. And number 2, remember vakokwana va hlupha hi knee and hip kotala ne mara anga kona la tlangaka bolo from that side anga na problem ya hip and knee. So the challenges leti hi nga na tona ku va nkarhi n'wana hi nga ri na soccer kit ku va nkarhi un'wanyani vakokwani mara I don't think the challenges ngopfu because hi treata kahle and ka vakokwani lava tlangaka bolo a ku na kokwana wun'we la hlayisaka ntukulu hi ya ka practice. Loko fika siku ra practice kumbe siku ra function we put on our makeup whether you are 60, 70, 80 yes and then we go there. Vana lava va kumaka vana here it's our time. I worked ntirhile so now it's my time na mina to enjoy whether I hlangana na swikhalabzana le orange it's again it's our time. And then lava va kumaka vana ava va yisi preschool bata va landza hi nkarhi wa vona. It's our time ya hlangana a grounding la hi tlangaka bolo because mina I believe in 3 things. To kick the ball, it helps ka knee and hip. Run loko tsutsuma swi pfuna la where level ya stress xingopfu la ku hleka She relaxa them. Ani rahleka a grounding. So she relaxa. It depends kuri uhleka njani. Not to smile. Kuna kuhleka, kuna to smile is just no. But kuna kuhleka where la ihleka. Ushitwa na wena kuri uma mhloti ne. It relaxes the muscles. But I should prove I'm a doctor. I mean, I should prove I believe I'm a scientist.
Yes. Mama Peka, you're such a humble person, and you called the Mother Teresa of Limpopo, as you said earlier. I'm sure carrying problems, Abantu on your back really does have an emotional toll, take an emotional toll on you. Can you speak about how that you navigate through that and how that feels?
Yes, I think he knows because before the World Cup, remember that it was the first in the world, because we had teams from team from France, America, but we had not the challenges, not the team Malawi. We didn't have money, so I'll go to him and say, hey, team Zambia does not have money to come to South Africa, and then uta check a lion again. But at the end of the day, after the tournament, mina and I'll go to him and say, hey, Matiba, I'm not enjoying Nakolota. People are happy. Makaya. I'm all alone. And mfanente kamali ya mina salary, yabatukulu ba mina, yabana ba mina, and antwisi say mo, I'm all alone. But nitibzela kuri antake ni akona, antarilela ka bona. Look, namuntlha manna petrol. They understand. Ni aka hector. Mama me right. Ban nika petrol. But na hola. But I be enough because ni humesa hinkwaswo leswi ni nga na swona ni ringeta ku pfuna. And I mhaka ya ku pfuna ne swi suka ambilwini. Loko swi suka anyameni, you'll have a problem.
And brother Rafe mangakufaka kule nkulumo, I think kwesinye isikhathi kuthiwa kwabona abantu abasizayo, kwabona abadinga usizo. And one would assume ukuthi i-support structure thizeni ibaluleke kakhulu ukuthi yena lo muntu lo osiza abantu naye akuthole ukusizakala. Ake sikhulume ngokubaluleka kwalokho because I'm sure kuyinini nimkhushinayo ngaso sonke isikhathi nenze sure ukuthi uyakwazi ukuqhubekela phambili ngomsebenzi wakhe.
Chitu chirwana chandeme ndi chauri uthusa zvona kuhamba zvifana vambironi ungathusa uchiko laverera wana zvimwe zvithu murawo usawani zvimwe zvithu wasala uchipfawo wo disappointed so uchikothusa zvikovambironi zvitusa uri uye panda usayima zvino kama zvone nga World Cup nendo lingedza kufonera vanhu vanji vanira shumaro dzikazi business vamwe vachitoamba vachiraiwa ndingasithusa urasori azviyombironi yawe udwana achikotusa vamwe vanhu so muwala wavo wala nendo ndienda ndawala ratusana ngaruza zvikabvambironi.
Mama Peka, the work that you do is very intense. You are seen Dafuti, and it involves a lot of compromise. If you lisha that compromise, do you ever get to a point like I can't anymore?
Yeah, nkarungwani, but loko ni bona vana va graduate in 2021 we managed to pay, I don't know if I mention the amount, we managed to pay 600,000 kuri vana va ya xikolweni because abangena xikolo at the university we still have the receipt and na swilo hinkwaswo to prove that because uya university u pasile anga koti ku graduate mara u kolota 37,000 60 something we paid that. And when they graduate they call us and we go there and we support them. So no na hambi switika swivava. Remember that we don't have money. Our foundation does not have money. I don't have money, but I still go out and help. And then hatsaka loko va hi nyika ti results na va fonela hi tsaka van'wana va ake tiyindlo ta kahle vana lava hi nga va nghenisa xikolo a hi mhaka ngopfu ya ku ri ni lava ku benefita. I don't have a problem. Ntirhile a ntirha but ni lava ku pfuna van'wanyana.
So inspirational. Kolisi, these conversations make me feel like I'm not doing enough in Pagatin.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I really, really don't. But I think we should take it as inspiration to just step up and clamp. After the break, again, Bugeli, we further our conversations with our guests. Ningasud.
uhlelo lwe-SABC olungunqa phambili nolusakaza ngolimi lwesiZulu i-Asikhulume Let's Talk lubuyile komabonakude benu babukeli. Baba, wena ungafisa ukuthi uhlelo lwe-Asikhulume lukhulume ngani?
Indaba lo-shading iyaphazamisa.
Mawuhamba ugesi bayangibamba.
Kodwa kagesi hayi kusilimaza kakhulu amabhizinisi awasasebenzi.
Ungabona imotweni kanjani seshayisene ngendaba njalo ama-photos asemgwaqeni.
Amaphoyisa phela sathi icotho. Manje icotho loshona.
Nathi asikhona ukusebenza.
Amathuba omsebenzi siyiyouth sayidinga imisebenzi. Ayehlise ama-price ekudla abanye abantu abasebenzi baphila ngemali edrani.
Sisakhulunywe ngale yokuphumeza kwabantu besifazane nengane encane.
Simzwile, sanlalela. Asihlangane njalo ngolwesibili ku-SABC 1 ne-DTT. Asikhulume. Let's talk.
Ucinga intoni esingayenza ukuphilisana yenzele sizokwazi accommodate abantu abanenhliziyo ezinhle.
I think but you turn it like respectan at most cases. Like respect goes a long way. Kinto ba go dealing yona from bunyaneng, you know. Respect the way you speak to a next person. Respect to o bualena, you know. That's the only thing that you can conquer into respect.
Akuya ngokuthi umuntu okhuliswa kuphi abazali nabo kumele bakhulise ingane zabo kahle. Ma morals angithi aqale ekhaya.
Ya khona kuzoba nzima ukuthi sibe endaweni eyodwa noma esimene esisodwa. But indlela esizama ngayo ukuthi utreat lo muntu ngendlela naye akuphethe ngayo.
Kuthiwa ke kubalekile to empower yourself ulalela ngaphambi kokuba uempower abanye abantu. Kungakho ke abantu esibabona as ama-empaths, so abantu abanozwela emiphakathini yethu kuthiwa bayinsika, pillars of our nation. Kodwa ke kwesinye isikhathi kuthiwa this can also take its toll on you as umuntu, because as an individual unawo ama-needs akho. Let's hear from ivakashi zethu namhlanje e-studio that we further lenkulumo nazo. Kanti ke joining us namhlanje is Thetha, and she's a life coach and wellness educator. Gantige no Melena de Kock, who's a counseling psychologist. Ladies, ngimbingelele nginamkele.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, and Melena, perhaps we can start with you, because I would imagine doing good makes you feel good as a person, but also to what extent? Because I can imagine that at times it can take its toll on you as a person, because ultimately you also have needs.
Absolutely. I think that's the part of being an empath, is acknowledging your own self-awareness, and you have to almost like scan your own body to see what capacity do you have to give to others, but then also to take care of and to honor yourself.
I'd like to know from Yvette, a lot of times people interchange the words empathy and sympathy. Would you please kindly just help us to know what the difference is between those two?
I think empathy is when you are able to put yourself in another person's position and, see yourself in their position and really empathize with their emotions. And then I think sympathy is when you can look at somebody and separate yourself and say, oh, this is what you're going through. But most times empaths actually struggle to separate their emotions from the emotions of others.
And Melena, I'd be keen to also find out, when does being an empath become a bad thing for a person?
I think, like Yvette said, when you can't separate it from yourself, when you get so lost in somebody else's emotions that you kind of lose touch of reality of whether this is your stuff or somebody else's stuff, and that can be detrimental to our own well-being.
Listening to Becca's story earlier on made me just think, are empaths born empathetic? What do you develop it at some point? Where does this all begin?
It's a tough question. It's like the chicken and the egg, I suppose. And I suppose it can be a combination of all of it. There's an incredible psychologist called Mark Savickas, and he says we actively master what we passively suffer. And I think a lot of people who are altruistic in nature, who are empathetic in nature, it might be because of a childhood experience that you've had, that you've internalized, and then as a trauma response decided to be altruistic in nature, wanting to give to others, wanting to help in the best way you can, like Mama.
And you've ngibona ngathi kuzobaleka nokuthi sikhulume ukuthi there comes a point la umuntu ekuzobele abekumuqa khona to say ukuthi ke mina ngakwazi ukusiza ngize ngifikelele la and beyond this I cannot help. How important is it ukuthi umuntu akwazi ukuzibekela ama boundaries thizeni uqinisekisa ukuthi first they take care of themselves, their inner selves, so they're also able to be productive?
Mapungo where the boundaries and two zwine zandeme ngamanda ngori arali sa the boundaries sa diburi rikoto yemagai ko pa bathu no thusa bathu repetsa rene ropedza manda ashu but the one original utwanga Rebecca zwino nena zwikolodo zwine anikoni uzibadela zwino ngutomolemela is last two zwine na zifuna uthusa bathu zikotomoniremedza kamtini awanda uri ngotomo bana anxiety ngotomo bana depression ngantano uri anikoni uba yedzo the boundaries so ndistu zwandeme uri bathu sa bathu this said the bonori okay hapano ndo nenda kona one chimwe chipinga muthu to ḓithogomela ari okay khabathu namsi ari zikho baba ari namusi ndingasikone mara khamsi ari namphabege mbili khamsi mngwedzi kana ngazimwe zwithu na retail debt nayo because bona kana wombela na thuso uri ukozibona uri athina capacity yo ita yo thusa bathu ngeindira so ndizandeme ngamanda uri bathu babe na the boundaries.
I think I'd like to hear Mampeka's perspective. Mampeka, do you ever get to a place where you are going to go angekwazi ukwenza lento but I have to? Do you ever struggle to say no?
Before antavula noko anlava ku pfuna hambi swi vava but masiku lama antipsa ku se ni kurile na maybe age yani pfumelela amoyeni wa mena ku hayi la aninge pfuni but before anla ku pfuna ku ri whether we have or not anlava ku pfuna munhu but now I think I've changed kore la awa no miela futhi nuka la ninge swikoti ni miela but deep inside wa switwa ku ri swa vavanyana I want to help that person but only that I don't have.
But does saying no come with the guilt mhlawumbe kancane or acceptance uyazi ukuthi angekwazi you aware?
Yeah, inside you could know but yes. But my mouth itaku no, but deep inside you kumara anfane ngupuna. I'm nubla from my side.
Yeah, perhaps mhlambe la ku mfethu singezwa ukuthi mhlambe kwesinye isikhathi nawe kuba nesikhathi la usho khona ukuthi cha ngeke ngikhone manje mhlambe uzizwa njani emva kwalokho mhlambe uyezwa ukuthi khona umthwalo sosukile emahlombe wakho or you just feel like I shouldn't have said no.
Yeah, now sometimes like I've said, like from the beginning, I'm a businessman. I'm doing business. So it happened. Firstly, I put people first, and then I come last, and then somehow you end up like I'm suffering alone. Not good to help is a problem. So whereby you start to have the boundaries, set the goals. How do I help people? I can give you an example. Mina in my village, sometimes it's painful. A little child, I school without shoes. It's painful. During winter, no jacket. But sometimes you want to help them, but something stop you. In my home, somebody like can't buy a uniform. But December time, somebody is spending 40,000 buying alcohol and everything. Come January, you find that you are a donor, you have to help. So somehow, I see like now it's not money that's needed. We need to educate people to understand, to see, actually to prioritize the future of their kids. So that's why I say sometimes you build the boundaries where, okay, instead of helping people with money, let me use my mind to educate my people, because people are like who depend on other people, go mistake at the parents at home, because like grooving, it's nothing. So that's where sometimes I say I end up putting the boundaries. I say I will help people, but sometimes we need to talk to them, not using money.
I'd like to hear Imbonoga Putfati. Putfati, are you able to draw ama boundaries? Have you learned to say no? Mubonoguti simo as vum.
Nikuribu. Neka yanga nyimeri. Atito de wana ningari the purchase of maybe from Muzimu. The atusanga man. Mara atito de wana na dwana liti. Ndishko ombe was to zaba beyond rich can. So musi batho ba tshukamba hore ba kona hore no, it's foreign card to the one they go to them to know. So mara mashudu mabo yande hore batho bane ba approach ndi lavhelesa hore ba ba bositse hore omuna ezwi anga zwikona.
Yeah.
Ndi enda bana mashudu ngaho.
And Yvette, I'd also like to know ukuthi mhlambe ucabangani ngaloko sesikuzwile, because I think Hector usebenzisa nama values amaningi that we believe in as abantu ukuthi kwesinye isikhathi it takes a village to raise a child. Uzomuzwa naye akhuluma ukuthi no uyayisiza ingane around the village lakhe. What would you add to that?
I think I would add that I think community is important, and especially if early in whenever empath. But umulotna nende atoda to say about as zote zinaweza kutoba kutozwala babote. But chunga it's okay uribari, you know what, they adiboro umutu udiba financial knowledge ari erofunza community ngezutu. They adiba umutu ene udiba zu, you know, zinaweza ngatusa batu ngaindele kamsi batu borokono ita the skills asurubone chipinga chunga tubakoto wala stuzote kama shada apo zunga tubakoto reach out kabatu bena batsini nabo babatu sena because mutu never an empath or the hangwa because what and I had to sing from a place ya rufuno ravo because you're giving so much love to other people, you forget to give love to yourself, and then you give from a place of depletion. Uneba woneta so chakune ndori ba ditogomele urba kono ba togomela bango queen.
Very important point. Yes, take care of yourself. I
think it also speaks to not pouring from an empty cup. You can't pour from an empty cup. And after the break in Bugeli, we further our conversations.
Your pension today can make a huge difference to the quality of life you enjoy upon your retirement. Look out in the coming weeks when we bring you special episodes from time to time on all you need to know about your lifelong investment. Powered by the Government Employees Pension Fund. Here on Ilungelo Lakho, it's your right. Live on SABC 1 Mzansi for sure, and on SABC Plus on Tuesday at 4:30 p.m.
I have never used any money from any of my department's entities for the purpose of funding the South African Communist Party, as maliciously and falsely suggested in the outline.
The non-profit organization Doctors Without Borders is in the Eastern Cape province.
Doctors Without Borders are here to launch a 5-year partnership in an effort to address the issue of non-communicable diseases.
Parliament's Ethics Committee has found 2 senior politicians guilty of breaching the Code of Ethical Conduct.
The mood is very somber here at the military base, where 6 members of the National Defence Force, South African National Defence Force to be precise, perished.
French troops will begin to withdraw from Niger.
The International Monetary Fund says 2023 has been a difficult year for activity in the sub-Saharan African economy.
Nisahleti nathi kwi-Daily Thetha namuhla la sikhuluma khona about being an empath, that is having the unique ability to connect deeply nema emotions alabanye bantu. But with that, I also think you need to have or learn the balance to say no. And before siqhubeke again enkulumo yethu, we've got a social media read. Let's get into it. Nkosikhona Milan on Facebook says, I have a friend who is highly sensitive, and when something is bothering him, he shuts down and locks himself in his room. I always try to discourage him from doing this, and I'll ask him to share his feelings when something is bothering him. Sometimes he does listen to me and opens up. #Daily Thetha. I think...
So, kwasibonisa ke ukuthi abantu banama coping mechanisms thizeni masibabona ukuthi ayi ngasekenyukela manje, right?
Yeah. I'd like to bring in our psychologist. What are the emotional effects that a person really has from realizing that I can't physically assist you in this situation? Are there any physical manifestations to being aware that I can't do anything to assist you?
Yeah, I think it's a level of helplessness, right? we have to, and I think you said it so aptly, where we cannot pour from empty cups. And at times we just don't have anything to give. But I think communicating that as well helps to navigate that, where if I say to someone, look, my cup is really empty right now, and I actually don't have much to give to you. When I do have more, I'll come back. It's a really good way to navigate the effects that it could take on us, feeling helpless, feeling guilty, feeling like we want to do more than we can, but we just don't have capacity to do that.
And I think it would also be important because in Nkulumo Lesi, have a wonke umuntu la studio nathi. Let's hear from our audience njengamanje. Kisize ngapha sikhulunywa lesikwamukela ohlelweni.
Sanibonani igama lami Enhle ngwakaSilisho. Okay. Ngiyive itopic yanamuhla ikhuluma ngabantu labanoluvelo. I'm one of those people labanoluvelo. I'm running my own company. It's a new production registered this year. And my members, I think more than 20 members. So ngifuna ukusho ukuthi sometimes kulukhona ukuthi no nangumlungu elivelo. Ngibona ngami mina sometimes futhi anginayo imali ne uyangifonela umuntu Madam Singh ngicela ungiboleke imali lengaka like noma ngabe ngide ne ngizama ukuthi okay ngizokunika anginayo leso sikhathi but ngithi ngizokunika today ngizama ngathi tonke indlela ukuthi ngimnike loyo muntu no like angathi ndayibeka kanjani lento ngibuka ngathi nangidawuthi no ndaba ngathi ngikhona lo ngikwendele lokhu wrong akukho easy ukuthi ungathi no kumuntu man especially nakakwati ukuthi mani ungulo muntu loyo
okwazi ukusiza abantu uthi sizwe ngapha ke nakulihlangothi mfethu sikubengela sikwamukele ethi ke sizwe kuwena
ngiyabusela kudeli chatha ligama lami Qiniso Kunene namhlekiseni into lena nami ngiyathanda kakhulu kusita abantu ngakukopa kumkhulu wami but ke kwaba buhlungu kumkhulu wami because he was a businessman ngicela siwafundisa abantu labang4 bonke bafika e-university baba nema professions lamahle kakhulu but lapho la kwangivisa buhlungu khona kakhulu kulo 4 webantu labagcine ba graduate e-university waba munye kuphela ngicabanga ukuthi umuntu lwabalisito kuye bonke labanye kude ngisho munye lo wenda nje into lenhle ukuthi at least naye abuyisele emuva la sakutholile so ngeke ngaphindze futhi ngasita nami emangweni wami community bengihle ngithola imali eHong Kong eAsia ngisite bantwana badlala ibhola emangweni yami but ke into lenye lekabi bantu bayibacabanga ukuthi mawuthola isito somewhere wena sengiwololo nemali kanti wena kulokwendeka ukuthi wena ungumnyango wabo ukuthi bathole something njengokuthi bengithola lisite eHong Kong akusho ukuthi mina nginemali bengikhona ukuthi mina ngikhulume nebantu labatawuthola ukuthi basiside bese uthi wena naso ubuya futhi back uthi mhlambe nawe sonenkinga bona sibasaba futhi uthi sebaleka kanti phela nami nginato inkinga akusho ukuthi nangabe ngitawuvula umnyango senginemali nami ngide imali nethi ukuthi beyiba ngilendlela ukuthi ngikhona ukuthole imali ngaleyo ndlela so kuba buhlungu ngaleso sikhathi ngoba bese sebacabanga ukuthi wena shothi unako konke kanti akusi akuhambi kanjalo.
Siyabonga imbono yakho. I'd like to ask both ladies ukuthi I know setting boundaries is very, very important. How do we teach people, implore them to set boundaries and to really separate themselves in a healthy manner from other people's issues?
For me, I think boundaries are things that are very misunderstood by people. We tend to see them as ways of, oh, we're being rude if we tell people no, or we're being unkind if we say we can't do this. But boundaries keep us safe. Boundaries teach us how to help other people understand what we can and cannot give. So communication of how that boundary is needed. It can either be a time boundary, an energy boundary. We have to figure out what we need for ourselves. If it's a time boundary, and let's say with work, it's a time boundary, work consumes this much of my energy. So at 5 or 6 p.m., I'm shutting down and I'm not going to do that anymore. That's me preserving and protecting myself a little bit.
What's an energy boundary?
An energy boundary is also checking in with yourself. So maybe your energy reserves are really low and a friend of yours is going through a breakup and they need you, but you don't actually have the energy to give to them. So you have to check in with yourself to go, well, how much do I have? How full is my cup? Can I actually pour into somebody else's? Or do I have to preserve that energy for myself right now? And maybe tomorrow I can give her that energy. Or maybe later I can give her that energy and pour into her cup.
Yvette, your perspective, how do we learn to really separate and remove ourselves from people's issues?
I think one of the things that the other guest mentioned is that the discomfort of the emotion, sit with it. It's okay to feel guilt. It's okay to feel helplessness, you know, because that's bringing you awareness to something. So self-awareness is a big thing to say, okay, why do I feel uncomfortable with this? Why do I feel helpless? And is this my responsibility? Because a lot of times, kanji said the empath, and then for every no, knowing when I'm yes, right? Yes to growing your business, yes to your emotional well-being, yes or ini niditutuwedze khazimwe areas zabuchiro hanu kozwana so njo umbra nabona boundaries just as Mel said uri so ngozwana sa choose negative this is za choose za protected the relationship dzano uze rinkochilisana na bathu una stu zwine bado gudore okay chimwe chipingati ngoto yakho la muthu ndimumbele chelede na nne rindiringedze u solve the problem dzanga okay na nne chimwe chipinga ndikoto thoma ndalingedza so uri ndisathiwe kha moyo muthu kana no uri badiboro okay wo muthu kholemelwa irindi muliche na ine adithogomele then bathu badogudoni thonipa na ine na chelede dzanu na energy yanu na stu zote zwine na bani mkhudzula nkobaba.
Okay, hayi kuyazwakala ke impela sibambe lapho kwamanje ngoba kumele siye ekhefini. Siyabuya mbukele emva kwalokho sesivala inkulumo yethu. Hlala nathi.
Are we doing enough to fight gender-based violence?
His service, asiyonto senzela abantu nxeba. His service sekufuneka abantu bayidemande.
Of the reputation goes what a politician is.
We want to know why this person murdered Mama.
Thina sincedekele ngoba si-involve nina ku-expressions.
Umuntu uzophelela ejele
That is Expressions, Mondays at 5 p.m. only on SABC1.
Sakhuluma ke ngabantu abanozwelo essentially kuwo abantu laba ekuthiwa kwesinye isikhathi baba yinsika yemiphakathi yethu kakhulukazi masibuka njengamanje ukuthi ama skills athanda ungabe balance kakhulu la sobona khona abanotho nalabo banganalutho emiphakathini yethu. And I think Yvette you made a very important point ngaphambi kokuthi sekhefeni ukuthi kwesinye isikhathi kumele ukwazi ukuba no yes for wena as umuntu. How important are also ama moments where you able to reward yourself ngoba wenze into enhle ngizoyenza mhlawumbe energy efana nokuthi inja kwesinye isikhathi yakwazi kuyinika treat mayenze into right, and I use that loosely ngoba kwesinye isikhathi kubalekile nokuthi mawenza into enhle as a person as well ube nalawo moments where you give yourself gratitude.
I think it's so important, right, to the celebrator, because you know, we forget to say, but look at all the good I've had. Then you focus on so it's important to celebrate yourself, to take care of yourself, you know, take time to yourself, you know, spend time by yourself. I know someone, I think on the comments said that, you know, their friend spends time alone. Sometimes that's the treat to self, you know. Udurani not and the says or okay, the honey, you know, kind of the visa na ini muneni somewhere, you know, ni les lose no gotoda, those type of things or ni dumbu zonore na nendi mutu, na nendi na the needs, na nendi koto togomera, and the mutu na goto uni togomero toma di unimonde.
Becca spoke about football, and I suppose that's a way that she also relieves some of her stress. But how can you recommend, what can people do to really relieve that pressure or the stress that comes from being an empath?
I think spending time alone, asking for support from loved ones, and really allowing people to support you. Because sometimes the other thing about empaths, means when other people come and offer and say, let me give you, you're like, I'm fine, you know. So it's quite important. So I think to spend time in nature. You know, nature is always good, it's always calming, and I think that's what also the sports does as well. And do things, I think, arifani sabat. So it's quite important to need the teachers and when this appears when does you enjoy and this appears when does you phone. Then need and need the pitch pinga, need as just to news and into.
And Mampeka, ngesizwe kuwena mhlawumbe kwesinye isikhathi uma uzithola ukuthi hayi ngathi manje sekuyanyukela kumele ngithole usizo uyakwazi ukuthi ulicela usizo mhlawumbe kuba nzima ngoba ujwayele ukunikeza abantu nje izinto.
Sometimes na shlava kupfuneka mara vanhu vo tala vo ta van pfuna and na mina na ti reward reward ya mina I mean mina famba ni ya dorobeni ni rhandza ku mbala kahle. I don't compromise. At times I don't compromise.
Yeah.
I go out ni ti xavela a nice dress, ni ti xavela ku ri ni va kahle ni ti zama. Ma swi vona ivi swi ni tsakisa. And xin'wana lexi ni xi endlaka i ku I told myself I want to be the first in the world ku va ni endla a World Cup ya vakhegula. Remember, it is the first. A yi ri yo sungula loko ni heta la ni lava ku ti tsakisa, ni lava ku endla, ni lava ku ti celebrate, ni lava ku ti nyika award, not award ya ku nyika hi vana. A na ha ti rhandzi ti award ta ku nyika hi vana. Mina no ti byela ni ku na huma namuntlha ni ya ku tshameni ni dya kun'wanyana. Sometimes ni ri one, yes, na ku va ni ti hlayela tibuku ni ri one. Mara mina ni khensa ku ni na support ya le kaya. My dad is 87. I am the firstborn. And the one supporter. The Nzansi family, the Mahai family, family ya ka hina, family liya hinkwayo van support bala. Hambi nga ri financial, but ku vulavula na mina va ni nyika rirhandzu loko ni ya ka awards kumbe ni ya kwini I support yin'wana ni yi kumaka, especially my dad. And get well, daddy. And then loko swi ri tani swi ni endla ku ri ni tiya. And my husband, vana va mina ban support. They understand. My grandson sometimes will complain. Wa mama, kasi ka wena hi vangani. Hi ku ri hi tele vana va wena. Un'wana na un'wana loko n'wi xeweta my son, my son, my son. So by doing that, I reward ka mina.
Amazing. Yeah. I'd like to hear Imponoka Usisi. Is it true that empaths are intuitive people? Is there any truth to that?
Absolutely. I think empaths also know how to read energies from people, and that's part of why we are the way that we are, is we can speak to someone and we are so observant of their body language, the tone of voice, what's going on with their energies, and that's how we sort of absorb it, sponge it off them onto us. So we are very intuitive.
Amazing.
Wow. I'm learning so much namhlanje around this, and actually we Hector sisiza ngapha kuwena asikhulume ngokubaleka kokwakha imiphakathi yethu in a time where we're dealing nezinto eziningi. I think when ziphuze libalekile lokuthi usiza umphakathi, usiza ingane zomphakathi, ukubaleka kokuthi sisebenzisane ikakhulukazi masinomuntu othanda ukupha emphakathini.
Thank you. Mina, I think kutirhisana na community it's a big reward. Why I call it a big reward? Because whatever you plant in the community, it grows something better which can change the community. So, when I was alone, how to help the community. So, as I'm saying now, community, I need money, they need skill. So when I say they need skill, we have a scarce skills. I can give example about me. I started as a security officer. People were laughing at me, but now you earn less and what. But today, I've managed to help a lot of families through security. So why I'm saying, so we are opening a center in my village with Mama Bega, whereby we will be helping communities. Instead of getting money, they must get skills to equip themselves.
Siyabonga imbono yakho. Mama Bega, final shots, closing shots.
Anla ku vanhu a hi pfuneni. Hi nga yingiseli vanhu, mina va ni discourage ko tala, va vulavula ko tala, and a ni yingisi leswi va ni discourage swona. Me ni tibyela ku ri evuton'wini lebyi loko ni fa ni lava ku va ni va the first, I don't know, ku va ni fika ka FIFA ni va hi tirhela vakhegula. Na vakhalabye va ta va karhi va joyina. Hi leswi mina ni ti encourage ka swona. A ni la ku twa munhu a ku tshika kumbe njhani. A na ha yingisi munhu, me ni ya mahlweni.
Brother Rafe, just a quick one from you as well.
Okay, yeah, ne changa ndito amba pedzori but kari gude uthusa resa ko labela chimwe chithu marahu reko thusa sikubva zimbiluni yashu ri dakalo lashu ri wana kho bona rushaka ro chikopela phanda.
And Sisivet, your parting shots?
Bathu ri koto humbula u ḓiṱhogomela na musi ri khou thusa bathu ri humbule uri ri na dzi needs, and the needs zashu na dzone they're important.
Yeah, and of course this side as well, no?
Final thoughts are empaths need to learn how to take care of themselves. You know, they give and they give and they give of themselves. They have to learn how to put their own oxygen mask on first before they can put on everybody else's oxygen masks.
Sure. Profound.
Very profound. I think my takeaway is that you need to learn not to pour from an empty cup, and giving is beautiful, but within bounds. It's been such an insightful conversation, Mbukeli, and I hope that you've also learned a lot and you've grown from Inkulumo Yefu Namuhla. Until next time, nisale kahle.
Arriving in style and inhaling the enchanting fresh breeze of nature. This away from the hustle and bustle of busy, Jozi city life. Welcome to a place where luxury and leisure are inseparable. Now here's a question. What informs your decision to choose your next holiday destination? Well, here are some tips to help you.
I think the things that you need to look at before you go on your getaway is looking at understanding what it is that you're wanting from your getaway. Do you want the peace and quiet? Do you want activity? Do you want nightlife? If the answer is you want to get away for some rejuvenation, some relaxation, a little bit of activity possibly, we've got cycling trails, we've got running trails, we've got walking trails up to 12 kilometers in length. So if you want to go out and take a walk, you can do that. You can play tennis on the resort.
The serenity here is adorned by being in the bush, surrounded by nature's tranquility. What started as a small country hotel, this establishment now prides itself with accommodation which suits all types of getaway excursions. You're even spoiled for choice, with some rooms tucked away in the trees and bushes. The accommodation at Mount Grace is very special. How is it home away from home?
I think the accommodation at Mount Grace is home away from home because of both the physical nature of the rooms and the quality and the way in which the rooms are configured. In the suite that we're sitting on the balcony here, we've got 12 of these with their own private pools. It's a heated pool. We've got another 14 deluxe rooms that also have their own private pools tucked away in the surrounding bush. So when you're in your room, you're in your own little sort of haven, your own little cocoon. I think it just lends itself to whatever season it is. In winter, we've got fireplaces all over the public areas, so you can go and cozy up with a book, either in the bar or on the stoep. It's just a nice place to be in winter, and in summer it's just glorious. The sun is out, it's warm, it's green, it's lush.
Did you know that you can enjoy a picnic on any of the open lawns on the premises? Now that allows for a quiet feast. From fine wining and dining, their restaurants serve just what your tummy wishes to order.
From a food and beverage point of view, we've got two main restaurants on the resort. We've got Twist, which is our breakfast and dinner buffet restaurant, where we offer a wide variety of dishes that are changed on a regular basis to keep them seasonal and also to avoid becoming boring and mundane. We've then got Rambling Vine Restaurant, which is our a la carte restaurant, ideal for romantic dinners, special occasions, that type of thing. We then have the Stoep and Terrace, which is more of a sort of fun, more of an a la carte, all-day dining type environment. Nice out there under the trees, listening to the birds, having a cocktail, a light meal.
Chill time is crucial on any rejuvenating escapade, and a visit to a spa that exudes opulence is often just what the body needs to unwind and relax. Most of us go to the spa for a time of relaxation, serenity, and just getting in touch with your inner self. How is coming to this spa a holistic approach to wellness?
Spa offer pure relaxation. We offer various treatments ranging from full body massages, body wraps, body exfoliations, and facials. And we also do have spa facilities that you can also incorporate into your visit at our spa to make sure that you leave here rejuvenated and relaxed.
What are some of the packages that we can indulge in?
So some of the packages that we have in the spa, our most popular package is called the Ultimate Romantic Package, which comes with 3 different treatments, which are mostly body treatments. So our lunch menu include items like your chicken Caesar salad, your cheese boards. We also have tree of quiche. We also have got scones, and we also do have a heated outdoor jacuzzi that you can also use in conjunction with the rock pool. So that would be the therapy of using hot and cold water, which also helps with circulation. We also have a steam room which also assist with circulation as well and relaxation. And we also have the infinity room flow pool. At our spa, we have a flotation pool, which is salt content, so it will make you float on top of the water.
I just think people need to be aware of this little secret, this little gem that we have hidden here in Magaliesburg, and if we can unlock that knowledge, I think you'll have very many happy